Eye Chronicle krata dia ba o se eye Ghana mampani e de eye petitions and nsaka e makomaku eye edu 10 na mpacho emu enso no womo se eye electoral commission maami Jen Mensah adokwe ene mpanifo mienu aka ne ho yemo mbonkarat yembrosko tom womnwuma yo enso ani afi emu makomaku miensa eko e de ama special prosecutor urakisi Jaben wono soso no sebi he has smell wa bon wasampa adwuma no ntimi ti EC bosses and special prosecutor womo emre a aka esu ana yes on betrans so all various offices esu ana President John Mahama afọ edi petitions nya e de akwa ACG abusia onsaka Chronicle krata ya o de mami Jen Mensah adokwe EC chairperson afi Mr. Kisi Jaben special prosecutor.
Yasan so shabium into the removal of EC boss Jen Mensah. I think say upon all what is going on, because per the petition say Babontino is so crazy. Sisi Accra no the latest petition aba is a petition. As I said, they should remove the EC boss Jen Mensah any name Crawford muye jumanina. Apart from EC boss Jen Mensah. Office of the Special Prosecutor, according to report, a man for Kasumuyino, I don't know. Krata, Akokudo Mampeni Mahamenim, as at now, Mampeni Mahama, eba be proceedi, Eden Kratano, Aquacoma, new Chief Justice, Paul Bafuboni, and Paul Bafuboni will take the decision whether as to they are going to remove them or not. Now, of course, checking into the records of Jen Mensah. Everything is clear. It is evident or yedenya or beko. Because last time na Honorable Johnson is dun ketia kase Chief Justice ni nyoma bi omo ya emu na ho, and if they come they will change EC boss Jen Mensah ni nyoma bi o ye during elections no they emu na ho into mobile message. Now, for some best sound on any office of the special prosecutor, and because according to reports on Muchra, OSP or Gadi Kenufuriata or Protectino, and Ghanaians can't work with him again. He is disgracing the NDC party. Now, for community, also one lawyer, one man be our bedin commoner in some more in this very interview. No, whatever it is. EC boss Jen Mensah, whether she likes it or not, obeko nyehwe video we say afamra. In terms of for senior muti, this according to the reporter is circulating, and I think the EC boss Jen Mensah, boss Manasari, and your momuki can win now. They themselves they know why don't they resign, and are still now they are still maintaining their position. Then at the long run, so much me a Chief Justice if you are. How much more EC boss? Maybe your more chain kopim se bandai se pandai election because we no mass sanidia. But for then I'll do from. Let me know your opinion in the comments. You do your best to subscribe, turn in notification na share video no for more updates.
Eye Chronicle krata dia ba o se eye Ghana mampani edi petitions and nsaka makomaku eye edu 10 na mpacho emu enso no womo se electoral commission maami Jen Mensah adokwe ene mpanifo mienu aka ne ho yemo mbonkarat yembrosko tom womnwuma yo enso ani afi emu makomaku miensa eko edi ama special prosecutor urakisi Jaben wono soso no sebi he has smell wa bon wasampa adwuma no ntimi ti EC bosses and special prosecutor womo emre a aka esu ana yes on betrans so all various offices esu ana President John Mahama afọ edi petitions nya e de akwa ACG abusia onsaka Chronicle krata ya o de mami Jen Mensah adokwe EC chairperson afi Mr. Kisi Jaben special prosecutor and Chief Justice Paul Bafuboni Nimfoni aba Chronicle krata mu ene anopai. Now, Professor,
that is established that their offices are equivalent to that of the High Court of Appeal, when there's any petition for them to be removed, it means that you are going straight to the president with the petition, and then the president will also refer the petition to the CJ to act on. Yes.
I see. But should we be worried? Because you were just said, you just read a portion of a constitution which says that they cannot be removed except. Should we be worried that 7 different petitions, people have found 7 different reasons for which they are convinced that a chairperson of the EC, not only her alone, but they are adding her 2 deputies can be removed? Should that worry us?
No, I don't think it should worry us. I don't think that should worry us. Rather, Ghanaians should be excited that we have Ghanaians in this country who have the country at heart and want to ensure that public officers are held responsible for whatever services that they provide or for which and whatever offices they occupy. My brother, if you look at Article 23 of the 1992 Constitution, it clearly states that as a public officer or administrative officer, whatever decision that you take, whatever task that you perform must be capricious, must not be capricious, must be reasonable. So once a Ghanaian is of the opinion that another Ghanaian who is supposed to protect the interests of another Ghanaian, and by upholding the interests of the Constitution is veering a mandate, the law allows that person should be brought to book. In other words, that person's word should be tested to ascertain whether the way he or she operates is in line with the provision of the Constitution. So I think that we should rather be excited that such petitions are coming. But much as we should be excited, we should also not be conclusive to assume that whatever the petitions have stated are obvious. Now the work is on the head of the CJ, right, to establish whether indeed there are questions for this affected person to answer. And once that is established, then the process will actually take off. So for me, as a legal practitioner and as a Ghanaian, I am very happy that we have gotten to a stage where Ghanaians know their rights and they are assuring that their rights are respected.
You say this is not a foregone conclusion.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not, because as it is right now, you and I, we don't know the content of the petition. All we do know is the fact that the constitutional provision is clear on what the requirement for the removal should be. But as to whether those requirements that is stated in the Constitution, these current petitions have met the threshold, is something that we cannot actually defend until the final report is out. In fact, as we talk right now, it is only the Chief Justice who is robed with the powers to say that based on what I have, placing the interpretation of our constitutional provisions, I am of the firm belief that the affected person have a question to answer. And once that is established, the process is triggered. But if the CJ feels that no, there's nothing in, they are just hot air, the petitioners are just being emotional, the CJ will say that there's nothing for them to answer, and therefore the committees will not be constituted.
I see. Is there room within this constitutional provision for someone, because the suggestion has been made?
Each me say, Eba no banche pa banche ohoi eso onfa so papa yetimi nya gari yenya fufuo yenya niema bebrebe na na difiri banche mu. Enti Professor Emmanuel Yaovi kyerɛ me say eye banche ohoi Siasia de ani kwa ho pa sika o man Ghana yebetimi anya ade afi eye banchi de de banchi yemu no anya sem kuma kura.
These two officers to answer, then the CJ will constitute a committee per Article 146, 3, 4, and 5 will constitute a committee per again Section 15 of Act 959 of 2017 will have 90 days, like 3 months, to go into the merit of the matter, invite all parties, and then at the end of the day, a report will be generated. Once the report is ready, the report is given to the president again to act upon it. And all the president does is to announce what the recommendation or the report will say. So at this crucial time, His Excellency's hands are tied. He cannot do anything. All he has to do is to refer the matter to the CJ. So the main work now is on the table of the CJ.
I see. So you're saying, so you also believe in a conveyor belt theory, because there are those who also think that at least the president should be able to look at the petition and see if it is worth the time of the state before moving into the CJ. You think that should not be the way it should go at all?
No, it's where we are now. It's not about what I think. It's not about what you think. It's about what the law says. All right. Now, the law says that if it has to do with the removal of the Chief Justice, the Article 1466, then the president is robed with the powers to establish, in consultation with the Council of State, to establish a prima facie case. Now, once it is not about the removal of the Chief Justice, but it has to do with the removal of the Justice of the Superior Court, the president cannot do anything. And once the president trends on that ground, then issues of constitutionality will catch up with him. So as where we are right, it's about what our law says. And like I indicated or intimated earlier, Article 146, 3, 4, and 5 will clearly state that if the petition that is received by the president has to do with the removal of the Justice of the Superior Court, the president cannot do anything on that petition than to refer the petition to the Chief Justice to do his work.
So at this point in time, the president has no hand in what happens next.
If the president does and tries anything, he could be cited for matters of impeachment. He could be cited for impeachment because then he's under, or he's looking down upon the Constitution. He's taking powers that he does not have, because these are matters of law. And in the 1992 Constitution, the Constitution is clear as to what to do when it comes to the removal of the Justice of the Superior Court. And it is not within the mandate of the president to establish a prima facie case. In fact, all that the president has to do is he receives the letter, whether they are in envelope or not, and then he receives he sends the petition to the CJ to open the envelope. And say, okay, my learned colleague, Kisi Ajaben. So the CG takes it from there. Now, all the president does right now is to wait. When the findings are complete and the recommendations or the reports are sent to him, all he does is to work as the work you are doing now, to declare what the recommendation says.
And you said the grounds are stated misbehavior, incompetence, infirmity of mind? Yes.
And interestingly, what you have stated is a constitutional provision, right, in Article 146, 1. And then when you come to the Act 959 of the Special Prosecutors Act 2017, Section 15 clearly states that, and these are also grounds. It says the office, the special prosecutor cannot be removed except, and the except simply means that ordinarily he cannot be removed, but His removal process can be triggered if he has to do with incompetence, if he has to do with where he doesn't have the capacity, if he has to do with where health-wise is not in there in the brain, if he has to do with misbehavior, then the process can be triggered for his removal.
So it also suggests that if I have a petition and I send to the president for the removal of the chairperson of the EC or her deputies, I must be able to establish that whatever issues I raise in that petition fall within the context of stated misbehavior, incompetence, or infirmity of mind. Absolutely.
So there are 3 or 4 grounds per the 1992 Constitution, for 146(1). It says that you cannot just jump and go there, but you should be able to meet that threshold to say that you are saying that, like in the instance case, you are going to the president to say that, well, Jean Mensah is not competent enough because of A, B, C, D. Jean Mensah has misbehaved because of A, B, C, D. Jean Mensah is not medically fit because of A, B, C, D. Now, when you are able to, as it were, cross that bridge, you put down your petition. Now, when the petition is sent to the president and same is forwarded to the CJ will also take the same words that you have used or petition that you have sent and examine the petition or the words and see indeed whether what you are alleging is something to go by, and if in the opinion of the CJ, he feels that there is something for the special prosecutor or the electoral, the EC chair, then he will establish the committee to go into the merit of the matter.
Very interesting. And you say this same grounds are what you need to canvass in the case of the special prosecutor.
That is correct, because if you look at the special prosecutor, Section 50 is clear that when it comes to his or her, because if you look at Article 44 of the 1992 Constitution, Article 44, let me go to the EC and come to special. Article 44 says that the conditions of service for the Electoral Commission chair is that of a court of appeal. All right? Now, his 2 deputies' conditions of service is that of the High Court. Now, so when you marry this interpretation to that of Article 146, 3, 4, and 5, in Ghana, when we say Superior Court, we are talking of from the High Court to the Court of Appeal and to the Supreme Court. So once that is established, that their offices are equivalent to that of the High Court, Court of Appeal, when there's any
I was for that information na just any some good na yebeka na NDC for Casabe de Bapawano mo yomo campaign any ba Jimensa or Bako near their day a mobile power 11 months in new way a moon in feel so beer that be the reason why I trigger am for the moment that petitions as our chadodo CJ to kono in for ye niaje and you tell darling practitioner now say Ghanaians are excited after some who say these petitions neither accord a certain president someone a chairperson in Fiona. Ghanaians are very excited because a domo rainy ye kind near yebeka the chairperson neither aye Nancy Cataquampo air friend or court on being semian as a main court and before some maintenance court. It is information in it is a news in an na enana mframem yete saa ni nyina yesi bia yete saa ledge na bisa on records wanko abano itime bono be 8 times 7 times yini maba kofa timidi wini second time yini eni maba kura John Jamana wadi Lucy yini because nyema boy ni abo first figure enye no kre second figure enye no kre bobo figures ni nyina zo nyina no kre the real one ankasa wenfa we want to know the real one ankasa wenfa because nyema mo yidi ye jana ntamase na so is na MP4 point one wakoka president ni MPP ni vice MPP ni ono mo abemu ina mi MPP ni MP4 enti wo as NDC ni a wo complaining no then omonti mo fanya shi o de kokota sije to kono so ho e bas na togu enti shi na shi weke njena ama for edin and this petition na kono Ghanaians are very happy according to the legal practitioner so Ghanaians are very happy. So as for that content in what that petition in the up to now the name, but or catch the state president say according to the constitution in the only rights of Metimasran or papas petitioner more the Abraham de Mastum Nemayi Jimmy Senfi office Nemayi ni deputy Senfi may OSP feel tell say content no charges on the bono adiom de bonus why say no to say the CJ number the measure movie no was from put some questions in the president need right to be so any we need feel when cry fast the CJ to kono fast no the same thing in the years anko for the fast until I'm run the year Juma power Ghana man is legal practitioner no can say these things are air no I'm a before deal because you know na yebeka rigging of election no course new MPP time pass year rigging and yen Dr. Mani Boama the late and a boy and got this a year 2024 about an echo 2 year and can this event me because strategy and I'm reading on my not a time communion account, my DJ Bremunion account. Sani ma we no muye strategy be and me to study the winning. Nothing is more regular election day or more than stop it that rigging of that election 2024 no. Me no with me be anti James I want some the endorse. I can say can endorse you but the content in the room, the new content in the world that a petition any intimate at the end guess there be says where incompetence also it's any intimate guess. So these are the things a legal practitioner about in time which more a bit my actually arguing under the comment set with him so I share more down for so be actually higher for it. I come